things over to you, please, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can everyone hear me okay? Just making sure on the screen. Everybody's good? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Chair, honourable members. Merci, Monsieur le.
Thank you very much, Chair, honourable members of the committee. Good morning. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the lands on which we are gathered today are part of the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people.
In the context of this committee's study of the Auditor General's report on Sustainable Development Technology Canada, my colleague Rima and I are pleased to be here today to provide information regarding the role of the Senior Personnel Secretariat on Governor and Council appointees, including at SDTC. Les nominations par le gouverneur en conseil sont faites.
Governor and Council appointments are made by the Governor General on the advice of Cabinet and on the recommendation of the responsible minister.
Appointees include heads and members of commissions, boards, agencies, administrative tribunals, crown corporations, as well as deputy ministers, associate deputy ministers who lead federal public service departments. These appointees play important roles in carrying out the mandates of these organizations.
Since 2016, the government has used open, transparent, and merit-based selection processes to help ministers make recommendations for these appointments. This approach aims to support the selection of highly qualified candidates who meet the skills, knowledge, and experience criteria of a position and who reflect Canada's diversity.
These selection processes are application-based. Positions are advertised through notices of opportunity on the Privy Council website. Outreach is conducted to attract qualified candidates. Applications are assessed against the advertised criteria for the position, and following interviews, a list of qualified candidates is provided to the responsible minister. The minister then recommends a candidate to Cabinet. A security review background check is undertaken by security partners prior to Cabinet approval. The appointment is then made via an order in council, and the Privy Council office provides support, the necessary support for this process. As you have heard in your study, under the SDT's enabling legislation, 7 of the 15 Board of Director positions, including the chair, are appointed by the Governor and Council, with the other 8 positions being appointed by the Board itself. Currently, the Board has a chair and 2 directors, all appointed by the GIC, effective June 3rd, 2024. They will manage the transfer of SDT programming to the National Research Council, and I know that colleagues from ISED, SDTC, and the NRC have all been before the committee to explain this transition. All GIC appointees, including the SDTC board members appointed by the GIC, must abide by the terms and condition of their appointment. This includes complying with the Conflict of Interest Act and following the government's ethical and political activity guidelines for all public office holders. As GIC appointees are chosen based on their qualifications, it is not uncommon for appointees to have experience or linkages within the organization's particular field of interest. This is considered an asset, and in some cases, like SDTC, is actually a requirement for the appointment itself set out in the statute. However, as the committee has discussed, this can create potential conflict of interest. GIC appointees are responsible for ensuring that they comply with the Conflict of Interest Act throughout their tenure, and that they need to seek the necessary advice from the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner as required. The Commissioner is responsible for interpreting, administering, and adjudicating the Act, including providing advice on compliance and determining whether an appointee is in contravention of the Act. For our part, PCO ensures that candidates well understand their obligations under the Act and that they will be in a position throughout their tenure to meet those statutory obligations. Candidates are informed of these obligations at multiple points over the course of the selection and the appointment process. Before being recommended for appointment, candidates are asked whether they have or they think they have a conflict of interest with respect to the position. If a candidate identifies a conflict to us, we ask that they consult directly with the Commissioner on this matter. The Commissioner will then provide confidential advice and a direction tailored to the candidate's individual circumstances. Following appointment, the appointee and their organization must implement whatever measures are recommended by the Commissioner to ensure compliance. This could include a conflict of interest screen or recusals from certain decisions. The Commissioner and his office oversee compliance and take necessary corrective action. Thank you for your attention. We would be pleased to answer your questions.
Thank you very much.